How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So there is a lot to go over in today's video. I'm sure you guys know by now that Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed. They gave their official response yesterday, and since then the backlash has been pretty enormous. Like, I expected some people to be a little bit upset, but I definitely was not expecting people to react the way that they have been. So before we get into the content of today's video, if you guys have yet to hit that subscribe button yet, I would greatly appreciate if you did. If you look at my analytics, 74.5% of you aren't even subscribed to my channel that watch my videos. So if you guys want to be kept up on all things Cyberpunk 2077, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and you can always unsubscribe at any time. So there is quite a lot to unfold here. People have been absolutely furious on Twitter for a number of different reasons. People have been turning on Cyberpunk 2077 on the subreddit, and that's one of the things that surprised me the most, was that people were turning on the game on the subreddit, and a lot of people were in favor of those kind of posts, because for months now it's just been nothing but people hyping up the game, and there basically hasn't been any negative thoughts whatsoever on that Cyberpunk Reddit. But that definitely all changed yesterday. So after Cyberpunk announced their delay on Twitter, the community just got absolutely enraged, even to the point where some of them started to send death threats. I can understand why some people are upset. Apparently a lot of people have taken vacation time for this game, which is understandable. I mean, we live in 2020. A lot of people make money off of video games now. Even myself, like, a lot of my income is affected by this change, so it would make sense if someone like me was a little bit more upset than just a random person. And one of the biggest examples of this was Penguino, who asked just the day before that they announced the delay. They said, "Hi, before I book the 19th off work tomorrow, can I have full confirmation the game is going to come out that day? No take backsies." And Cyberpunk went ahead and said, full confirmation. So just a day before this was announced, they told this guy, yes, don't worry, we're not going to delay the game. Go ahead and take that day off. And this has happened for months now. They said multiple times in the past that, hey, we're not going to delay this game anymore. So a lot of people have been making their plans around this game coming out on the 19th. With Thanksgiving just being a week after Cyberpunk's release, a lot of people were setting their first day of their vacation on the 19th, and they were having an entire week, and then their final day of vacation would have been on Thanksgiving, and it was going to work out perfectly. But now that's no longer the case. But does this warrant death threats? No, not by any means. I don't understand why there are people that are so enraged that are focusing their anger at the developers. That makes absolutely no sense. It's not even the developers' fault. And based on a lot of the reporting, the game developers didn't even find out until everybody else found out. Liana Rupert, I think I said her name right, she works for Game Informer. She's a game journalist, and she said, "I've only talked to a few people so far, really busy day, but what I'm hearing is that the team at large didn't know about this, and that the announcement went live to them when it went live on Twitter. If that's the case, it is wrong on so many levels." And then Jason Schreier brought this up as well. Somebody asked him, how many developers do you think found out today over Twitter? And he said, all of them found out the same time we did. CDPR sent an internal email simultaneously with the public tweet. So if all that's true and the developers didn't even find out until today, then that's pretty scummy, and that's not on the developers' part, that is on the executives' part. That's just poor communication across the board between the developers, and most importantly, the communication team, like the Twitter and stuff. They probably should have let them know first so that they wouldn't tell people the wrong thing. They wouldn't raise people's expectations too much. But even then, even if people are going to be angry at the executives, that does not warrant death threats by any means. The game is only being delayed by 3 weeks. It's not that big of a deal. Even if it was delayed like 6 or 7 months, that's still no reason to ever give death threats. I think a lot of the community is going to survive just waiting an extra 3 weeks. But some of the examples of those death threats, we have Andrez. I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name, but he's a senior developer at CD Projekt Red. He says, "I want to address one of the things in regard to Cyberpunk game delay. I understand you're feeling angry, disappointed, and want to voice your opinion about it. However, sending death threats to the developers is absolutely unacceptable and just wrong. We are people just like you." And then he went on to further say that this is one of the mildest messages some of us got. There were far, far worse. Every single one is being reported. We will not let it go through. Do not treat it lightly. Do not ignore it. It is serious. That said, I'm off TT for a couple weeks. Take care. And then just some of these examples show that I know where you live, bro. Release the game or you're finished. release Cyberpunk or you and your family will be persecuted. I will burn you alive if you don't release the game. So yeah, that's pretty vulgar. This tends to happen on the internet. I myself have even received death threats. I know when I was covering Star Wars Battlefront 2 and I was giving my opinions on the game, I received death threats before because I said that the game was bad. So this is something that just happens on the internet. It's really disgusting. And I can't believe that it's gotten to this point over just a 3-week delay. That's insane to me. Now let's go over some of the individual responses that some of these users had on Twitter and over on the subreddit. Some of them make some good arguments, like maybe lowering your expectations when this game comes out. But we'll go over some of them and I'll give my opinions after the fact. There's this tweet. It says, guys, I love you and all, but this is getting crazy now, especially when you assured us and your conference call that you could meet November release date. Get it together, please. I can't take this anymore. You're messing with my budget now. So that's just one of those examples of maybe he took time off of work, maybe he has something invested in the company in like the stock market or something. There's just a million different cases out there where everybody's affected by this a lot differently. Then this guy says, yeah, I know this is for the day one patch, but I'm about to the point of canceling my pre-order. This has gotten to the point of me losing interest since I originally pre-ordered and paid this game off way back. So if that guy pre-ordered it back in maybe April or September or whenever the first pre-orders were announced, he's been waiting for quite some time now, so I'd be pretty upset too. Then we have this guy says, I just refunded the purchase. There is no point in buying a game from a dev who cannot keep their promise. When we were kids, we learned a valuable lesson from the boy who cried wolf story. I don't think I'll ever buy another game from this studio. Now I'm surprised that this got as many likes as it did. I obviously don't agree with this tweet. I do kind of get the boy who cried wolf reference because, I mean, they did delay it 4 times now this year. It was April, then September, then November, now December. So it is kind of like the boy who cried wolf. But this doesn't really have anything to do with the developers keeping their promises or not. A lot of the developers didn't even know it was getting delayed until we found out about it. This is more of an executive thing. And I mean, if this guy never wants to buy another game from this studio ever again, then I'm sure he's probably going to miss out on some really good games. But I wanted to include this one just because it got a lot of traction and it got a lot of upvotes. And then going over to the Reddit side of things, we have this post. It says, again, what the F is wrong with this game? First of all, this is not about the delay itself, and I don't want to bash the developers. They are surely doing their best, but there is seriously something wrong with CDPR's communication team. All those tweets and statements, no more delays, game has gone gold, and so on, just to delay the game again 2 effing weeks before release. Why would you even release such statements? Some people, me included, have arranged their private and personal life around the release of the game. I now have to cancel my vacation again after doing the same thing for the September release. My boss will ask me if there's something wrong with me, and I can't blame him. The best thing would be to keep quiet till release. No more promises or stupid tweets. Just be quiet and keep working on the game. See you in December. Now, this is one of the posts that I agree a little bit more with. I can see the frustration here. He understands that the developers are probably doing their best. Yes, the communication is not the greatest. I think it's a mixture of the developers and the Twitter account are just so hyped to get this game finally out there. It's just somewhere in the studio there wasn't that communication to say, hey, we might be delaying it, to kind of tone back on the hype train a little bit. And this is just another example of somebody basing their entire vacation time around this game. I've been seeing a lot of people sort of hating on these people saying that they have vacation time based around this video game, and I mean that happens a lot. A lot of people like to spend their vacation around video games, and I don't see the problem with that. Video games are a big part of a lot of people's lives now. It's 2020. It's not that out there anymore to want to take time off for a video game. Video games are a great way to escape from reality. Maybe you work a 9-to-5 job every single day and you want to take a week off just to escape and be in the world of Cyberpunk. So I totally get it. And then we have this post on Reddit. It says, it's time for people to stop blindly supporting CDPR and start asking questions. This is a problem for the Reddit gaming sphere in general, but as consumers, we have the right to ask questions about a product being brought to market. It doesn't make us entitled or trolls to wonder how much CDPR is hiding about the issues with their current iteration of the game, especially when it is impacting deadlines that were marketed directly to us. If this were something like a new car tire or some kind of new gadget, the industry would already be demanding answers. There would be major shareholder questions. There needs to be some CDPR management questioning going on, especially for the folks who ordered this for current generation machines. scenes, since it looks like it might be the cause of the delays. We have a right to ask about frames, visual downgrades, and cut content. And yeah, I think that this is another good point. On this YouTube channel, I like to look at the good things and the bad things. I'm all for this video game. This is one of the most hyped I've been for a video game in years. So like, I am all for Cyberpunk. I am all for them delaying this game to make it better if the final product is better from a delay. But yes, I do think that their communication on this just wasn't very good, and we do deserve some questions to be answered. If they keep delaying this game, what does that mean behind the scenes? Is this game going to have a lot of bugs and glitches that they just haven't ironed out yet? With COVID-19 making the whole world kind of out of whack, is that going to affect this game? Are they releasing an unfinished product? And I think that the standard's getting a bit raised every time that they delay this. I think unintentionally they are setting the expectations a little bit too high. Which segues me into the next post. It says, we might be disappointed when the game released in December. He says, this is the third delay. There is definitely something wrong going on with its developments. I'm pretty confident now that when the game is released, it's more than likely a buggy mess. I honestly do not think that they are ready to release this year. And I've seen a number of different comments just all over the place saying that, hey, we need to lower our expectations for this game, because every time they delay it, I think people are putting this thought process in the back of their mind that, hey, this game's going to be like the greatest game with no imperfections ever because they keep delaying it. Because with every single delay, that gives the developers more and more time to iron some bugs out. And gamers can't have it both ways. Just a couple weeks ago, people were upset about the crunch time. There was a number of different articles talking about all the crunch going on with CD Projekt Red. Some of the developers even had to come out and defend it, saying that they wanted to do crunch time because they wanted to make this game as perfect as possible for release. So you had a bunch of gamers upset over crunch, and now that it's getting delayed even more, people are upset that there might be even more crunch. So you have people on all sides upset over this delay. You have people saying that this game's going to suck now because it's getting delayed by 3 weeks. You have people upset that there's going to be more crunch. You have people arguing and yelling at the developer saying that they deserve more crunch now. It's just a complete train wreck. I can't believe how upset people got over this. It's really weird because when it comes to different forms of media, like all these different movies that have been delayed in 2020, people don't really seem to care. They just accept it. They understand that there's a pandemic and there's nothing we can do. But when it comes to Cyberpunk, people are a little bit less understanding, and that's mainly to do with that Twitter account. When the Twitter account told people on multiple occasions that there's going to be no more delays, and they announced that the game was gold. Normally when game companies announce that a game has gone gold, that means it's finished. I think this is the only example pretty much ever in my 20 plus years of being a gamer that I've ever seen a game go gold and then get delayed extra. So this is a pretty rare occurrence. I think people need to take a step back. There's plenty of other games that you guys can play in November now. I mean, there's Watch Dogs, there's Assassin's Creed, there's Call of Duty, there's the new Spider-Man coming out on PS5. It's not like it's the end of the world that you can't play this in November. But those are my thoughts on the situation. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Has this changed your guys' opinion on the game? Do you guys feel like it getting delayed again is a red flag? Like maybe this game is going to be buggy and glitchy at launch? Maybe it's still not finished and it needs to be delayed another time? Do you think it's going to be delayed another time? Regardless, I want to know all your guys' thoughts down below. I like to read your guys' comments. And then for all things Cyberpunk 2077, if you guys are new here, please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. It's greatly appreciated. Be sure to follow me on Twitch at Swanee Plays Games Live, and be sure to join my channel's Discord. And that's going to do it for me, everyone, and I will talk to you all in the next video.